Doing good. How you doing?
You know, from a year ago, the wide receiver room really looks a lot different right now with Devo gone, with Brandon, not cleared. How do you feel about just your chemistry and working with the group of wide receivers that are going to be opening camp tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we're gonna, need some work with the new guys, the young guys. The receiver room for sure looks different, and obviously, every single year it's going to be a little different. But for me, this is a crucial time to continue to work with those guys, the new guys, and for timing purposes and just getting to know everybody's body movements and getting in and out of cuts and stuff like that. So, big time a year for that, but that's sort of been the case every year when we get back into the flow of things. But I think for the young guys especially, it's going to be cool to see them compete and learn and go through just more pressured situations and stuff and see how they handle that. And but it's good for everybody across the board. So definitely going to be new. It's going to be a challenge, but a good challenge for all of us, and I'm excited for it.
Are you kind of looking forward to the possibility, well, not the possibility, but being able to use training camp to get used to throwing to these new faces? Is that one of the things that, when you think about training camp, you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously it's a growth period to get to week one of the season, but within that we get to see guys step up to the occasion when you're going against the top guys on our defense, and we get into some periods where we're replicating third downs, and every little thing matters. And so I think it's really good for obviously the young guys, the new guys, to come in our system, and then for me to be able to execute and throw them a ball in tight coverage. And it's just a great time of year to build chemistry, but also see who's willing to compete and be ready to be a guy come week one in the season. So that's what excites me, and I know everyone in the locker room is excited for those moments too.
You worked with Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall before minicamp. Did you work with any other receivers between then and now?
No, on our team it was just those guys. Yeah.
With Kittle out in Tennessee with your new home.
Yeah. Obviously I got some work with Kittle, Mason Fline, shout out. But receiver wise, it was just Ricky and Jacob in Florida early in the offseason. So.
George and the other tight ends that were out there.
Correct. Yeah. They obviously at George's place it's just a bunch of tight ends and everything, but really good work that we got. So I was excited about that.
From a training perspective, did you do anything different during the downtime here, or what kind of was your process this offseason?
I mean, pretty similar, honestly, to the last couple of years. I got my guys in Florida and their whole training program and stuff that they do for quarterbacks. So just sticking to that, and then throwing, like we said, Kittle and a bunch of other tight ends and stuff. So I think it was really nice to get work in with NFL caliber tight ends. Just the work that they come in ready to do every single day, and throwing the moving targets and stuff like that. So that was a little bit different, which was awesome. But outside of that, I go about my process the same that I have years past with my quarterback stuff and weight room things and speed training, just to get ready for the volume of what training camp and the season looks like.
Was there anything specific that you wanted to attack this offseason?
Honestly, just continue to work on my mobility and stuff. I feel like I'm somewhat more of a stiff, quarterback. That's not a bad thing, but something that I always try to work on is just my arm and mobility with that, and keeping it stretched out and stuff. But outside of that, it's more so making sure I'm on top of my mechanics when throwing to the sideline, deep ball, some running things, and making sure I'm in shape with my legs. So, I mean, those are all little things that I just try to hone in on.
What do you think about more of a stiff quarterback? What do you mean by that?
I mean, just mobility-wise, like my arm and stuff. I feel like I'm like a compact quarterback, and so just making sure I'm stretching and trying to not be loose or anything, but a guy who can make certain arm angle throws and stuff like that. So working on that.
You talk a lot about being the same guy every day. I'm curious whether financial security and the responsibility that goes with that the team has placed in you, it must have changed your life some, but does it change your approach or change anything about who you are?
No. I mean, obviously the organization, that's their way of, showing that they, put their trust and faith in me as a guy to lead this organization, and I'm very honored for that. Obviously, I've always believed that I'm able to be that guy for this organization, and so, but it doesn't matter how much I get paid, man. Every single year, my process has been, how do I get ready for this game, and any play or situation that I'm put in, this is my answer, and I got to go get to my answer, and do that consistently, find ways to win games, obviously put a season together, get to the playoffs, and try to get and win a Super Bowl. And so, and that doesn't matter how much I get paid. So for me, it's still getting better. The tape doesn't lie. I got to watch the tape, and Shanahan, Kubiak, Lombardi, they're all real with me about where I need to get better, and they push me with that, which I love. And so, but that's my mindset every single day. It doesn't matter how much I'm getting paid or what. I'm going to go out there, and anytime I step out in the field, I'm the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and there's a standard that I got to play at and a chip that I have to have on my shoulder every single rep, every single day. So I don't look at it any differently. I never have, and I won't. So that's where I'm going to be at moving forward, too.
What do you think about what's going on with Jawan Jennings and his contract, and how important is it to get that taken care of so he can be on the field with you guys?
I mean, it's extremely important. Obviously, love JJ and what he brings to our team and to myself as a quarterback. Obviously, we've had so much success together, and anytime you see something like this going on, as a player, it's like, man, like, let's figure out something so we can get back out on the field and we can continue to do what we've done. So obviously, I hope everything gets handled and everything, but would love my guy to be out there on the field with me.
So many new
vividly
faces
recall the
and
first
so
few
much.
times you threw to Jawan to, like, where he earned your
Just say it again,
trust.
sorry.
Can you remember the first few times where he earned your trust on those, like, third down throws or specific instances where you go, oh, this guy's going to be a good target for me?
Yeah, I think Seattle. I can't remember if it was my rookie or second year. I threw him, like an out route at 4 yards. It was like 3rd and 7, and he broke like 3 guys off him and then got the first down. I was like, okay, like, Jawan's a guy that's going to fight until the very last whistle or breath that he has. Like, he's a gamer, man, and obviously he's done that just game after game. He fights his butt off. He blocks his butt off for everybody. It's not just about Jawan. Like, he's doing it for everyone on the field and for his team. So absolutely love playing with him and his mindset every game, man. So obviously I have nothing but respect for Jawan, and that's my guy. So, yeah.
With so many new players and so much youth right now in the team, does the locker room feel different energetically than it did a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. We got new guys added, young guys. We definitely just got to use this time to find out who we are as a team, as a unit, and but the energy's good. I think a lot of guys have come in ready to play for the Niners and this culture that we've built, and it's an exciting time. Obviously, there's going to be some challenges with it. I think this is going to be a good time of year to go through some adversity and some conflict, and how do we figure that out together. So, but everyone's ready for it. We've had a long off season, obviously not making the playoffs, so a lot of guys are itching to get back and compete and play football. So.
You mentioned coaches being real with you, and through the years, a lot of the guys have talked about how Shanahan, I guess one of his best qualities is his honesty. Like, he'll tell you the truth even if it's hard. Is there like anything you could share publicly of something he said to you that was like, well, that's kind of difficult to hear, but it was helpful?
Yeah, I think just being consistent, and I think there's plays that show up that come down to like fourth quarter decisions, man. Like, if we make this completion here, we can run out the clock and win the game, kind of thing. And for me, it's like, all right, this guy, like, he's telling the truth, and that's something that I'll always remember. Certain games or certain situation, and there was a couple that happened last year, but he's just real with me about it, which I love. I don't want a guy that's going to sugarcoat it and say, oh, a couple plays here and there. For me, what I want to hear is, no, we get in this moment in the fourth quarter, like, you're going to be the guy that needs to make this completion, and we believe in you to do it, so do it. And I love that. That's the kind of coaching that I want, and it helps me get better. So, yeah.
Carl mentioned how open the roster is in terms of competition this year. Do you sense that also, and how cool is that as a leader of this team to see that our guys are fighting for these wide open spots?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think it could be a really good thing, man. When you got young guys come in, new guys come in, there's positions that are open for someone to go and take, and it's not easy. It's the NFL. You have to go out and earn it every single day, every single meeting, moment, you name it. And but I think more than anything, this is just going to get us ready for the fire that we're about to encounter when it comes season. You know, you want to have guys that are battle tested and they've been through the moments and high pressured situations. You want a guy that you can rely on. And so I think this is a good time for all these young guys to compete, and we see, you know, who takes the next step and can separate themselves.
Obviously really good at buying extra time last year in the pocket. Is the arm flexibility thing, different angles, part of that to really kind of take advantage of, getting out of the pocket and doing some of the things that Patrick Mahomes is able to do, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, playing the position of quarterback, there's so many different arm angles, and I know you guys have heard this, but yeah, there's, throwing perfect timing, perfect blocking up front, throwing in the pocket. That seems like it could be routes on air. That's easy, but the reality is you got 11 on 11. You got a pass rush. You got different blitzes. You got guys coming like down the middle that you got to throw around. So, yeah, when I say like working on arm mobility and stuff, it's just maintaining what I've done the last couple of years to be ready for those kind of situations. If I'm moving on the run, if I got to throw around a guy, if it's a screen pass and I got to throw around a 6'8" defensive end, it's just being ready for those moments. So that's what I mean by that.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.